So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Here we welcome you back here at BSN Arc. This is the BSN Arc podcast here today. It is Wednesday, August 19th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. We got a lot of sports to get to today, like always. Racking up the sports talk, like always. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I had an article up and there was a video that had to be paused, so my bad about that. But there was we got a lot of sports to talk about today. We got Denzel Mims, Jets, and the NFL players, just NFL players in general with injuries. Denzel Mims is now officially injured with the Jets. He's been injured for the past couple of days, been out for about a week now. Still seems to not be getting better. It's a hamstring injury. I'm getting a little concerned, although I'm trying to stay on the upside of things, being he's a rookie, being he's young, being his body is fresh and healthy. I am optimistic that he will be able to return, but there is that concern part of me about him possibly missing week 1 or more, or missing so many practices that he can't make week 1 because he's just not ready enough. He's also a rookie. He's never been in this type of playbook. He's learning a whole new playbook. He's a rookie. I mean, if this was a veteran and he had an injury and let's just say he would be back, I don't know. Let's just say if he was a veteran, he would be back. I don't know. He gets back 2 weeks before the season starts. He might be or a week before the season starts. Might be ready for week 1 because of the playbook. He knows the playbook already. He knows what the thing's all about, right? He knows what it's about, so he might be able to come back a week before that. As for Denzel Mims, if he comes back a week before the regular season, you might not be able to get him, even though that's 5 days of practice, right? Actually, technically, Friday would be a travel day. Saturday would probably be a practice day there, a walkthrough, and then Sunday would be the game. I don't know how teams do it, but whatever the case may be, now he might miss week 1, possibly. I don't want to even blurt that out there, but it's possible. 25 days until the first week 1 of the NFL season, Jets versus Bills. So you gotta hope that he comes back within the range. If it's 14 days before the NFL season and he's not back, which gives him 11-day cushion. If he's not back within 2 weeks of the NFL season, I'm going to get a little concerned. So that gives him about 11-day cushion. That gives him about, what? What's today? Today's the 19th, right? So today's the 19th, so that gives him a couple of days to kind of get ready and really back into the zone. But we got Denzel Mims lost the Jets. Tough news for the Jets and Pierre Desire and some other injuries there. We have the NHL and NBA playoff so far. Nets and Islanders. I've been saying this a lot, like, to other people. I've been talking a ton. I've been watching the NBA playoffs. I've been watching the NHL playoffs. I've been watching the Yankees. I've been watching all the sports. I want to take a time to really hone in and zone in on some NBA and NHL because I haven't talked about much NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs besides Islanders and Nets, which I talk about every single day, but it's not like I'm doing a wide variety. I'm only talking about the New York sports teams that are in the playoffs, because that is what I mainly talk about, is New York sports, and then I'll talk about other stuff as well. So we have NHL and NBA playoffs so far. There's been some upsets. We had the Magic beat the Bucks yesterday. We had the Trailblazers beat the Lakers yesterday. So there's been some upsets. There's no doubt about that. And in the NBA, NHL has been a few upsets. There was one, actually the Islanders game 1 were down 2-0. They ended up coming back winning 4-2. Yesterday they were up 2-0. Then the Capitals ended up coming back and winning 3-2. So there's been some interesting things. It's been a lot of fun to watch the NHL playoffs so far. I think it sounds great, looks great. So it should be fun to do that. So I'm going to talk about that. And then we have the Yankees, Mets, and Nets and Islanders, like I always do. Final topic of the day. Cap it off with some Yankees news. Tough loss to the Rays yesterday. Tanaka goes 4+, allows 5 runs. Struggled for Tanaka. Nets play today. Islanders play tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. As they played last night. I watched the tail end of that game. I watched the final 10 minutes of that game because the Yankees game was done. Watched the tail end of the Islanders game. Went to bed. So that was it. So anyway, this is the BSN Arc podcast, and let's get right into it. So Denzel Mims and New York Jets. Adam Gase says hard to rush Denzel Mims back when whole job is to run. So Denzel Mims does have a hamstring injury, and I'll tell you what, Adam Gase isn't saying stupid things. I mean, last year was saying stupid things. I mean, and that's not an outrageous statement. I mean, he was. Adam Gase this season is actually saying good things. I mean, he really is. It goes to show you how much. It just goes to show you how much I feel like he's almost like more like, I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit more. I don't even want to say it. But Adam Gase has said that it's hard, when the whole job is to run, it's hard to rush him back. Now, that's going to, every head coach is going to say that. Here's my problem with this Denzel Mims situation. It's a hamstring injury. He nailed it right on the ball. That is his whole job, is to run. Every single player, he is running somewhere, whether that's up the field, whether that's blocking a guy because your running back's got the ball, whether that's running in general, whether that's catching the ball and running some more, or whether it's just running a route and not getting the ball, but you're still running. You are running. As a receiver, that is your main job. You're running. You're not going to be walking as a receiver. Maybe you're walking back to the play, but during plays, you're not going to be running. I mean, you could say that about any player, but does the quarterback really run? Does the quarterback run every single play? Not necessarily. Quarterback doesn't run every single play. An offensive lineman is not going to run every single play. Receivers run every single play. They either run up the field to block, they either run a slant, don't get the ball, they either get the ball and run some more. They're either coming in on a sweep. They'll come in, the receiver will be here, quarterback will be here, and they come in on a jet sweep, and they comes in, hands him off the ball, and he goes all the way up to the right side where the weakest side is. All right? Running backs too. If this was a running back hamstring injury, they're running a lot too. Although receivers run every single play. Running backs don't run every single play. Running backs run like 85%. I mean, it really all depends on how many carries you get. Because sometimes you could be back to block, and that's not really running. But, right, receivers, every single play they run. They're either running upfield, on a route. On a running route, they always run. They're running upfield. So receivers are always running. And you really can't make that argument. If you make an argument that receivers don't run, like, that's just stupid. Receivers run. I mean, what are they going to do? Walk up the field to get a 50-yard pass from whoever their quarterback is, in this case, Sam Darnold? Right, so, anyway, Denzel Mims is, in fact, injured. That's the big key I want to go into. I don't want to go on the rant about wide receivers running and not. This is huge for the Jets. He is our number 2. He was our second-round pick. He was a pretty big pick. He was a pretty, it was like, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for this, and I'm telling all those people, let Denzel Mims do the talking. I last year was completely wrong about Dwayne Haskins. I remember going on little arguments with my friend about, Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins. Who's going to be better? I said Dwayne Haskins will be 10 times better. Sure enough, Dwayne Haskins is not better. I still get jokingly made fun of today. Not actually made fun of, but I get jokingly this says the one that thought Dwayne Haskins, right? But that's what I feel about Denzel Mims. I think very highly of Denzel Mims. I think we got a first round talent in the second round. I don't think that's an outrageous statement. Look at his highlights, look at his numbers, compare him to other players. We got a first round talent in the second round. I want him to be as good as he can be. Here's my problem, and it shows on stats, it shows on players' careers. You get an injury early that really halts you big time, that injury will linger with you the rest of your career. That's where I get a little worried. Hamstrings, groins, quads, anywhere in the leg area where it's very sensitive. Like hamstrings are very easy. Like you pull a hamstring, it's a very easy thing to do. You could pull a hamstring getting up to walk. I mean, you literally can. Hamstring's a very easy thing to pull. That is the problem. If he pulls it very badly, he's going to pull it more than often. You could pull it once or twice every season. Does that mean you're going to miss significant time? Not necessarily, because hamstrings are bad, but they're not always that bad. They're not always that bad. You pull a hamstring, you maybe 3 days of rest, and you could be back out, whatever you're doing. I've pulled a hamstring before because, you get those pain. You sometimes get that pain where you're just, weird, what it could be. Usually it's, some sort of, strain or pull. It's not major. If it was major, you wouldn't be able to walk. But that's where I'm a little concerned, is how major is it? They said he was on the sideline. They said that he was walking and stuff. I'd hope he was walking. But I'm just worried, can he even, try to run? If he can't even get to the point where he can't even, try to run, that's concerning. Because that means that's at least another week out. If he can't, and by the way, today, Jets training camp's on. Jets training camp live. It's on their YouTube channel. I watch it every time it comes on. It's an awesome. I do my pod, then it comes on and watch it immediately after. By the time this pod probably gets uploaded on YouTube, it probably won't be done. But it probably will be done. It only is an hour. Because they don't do the whole training camp. They only do, the first hour of training camp. But anyway, back to my point is I would like to see today on Jets Training Camp Live on YouTube, New York Jets, on their YouTube channel. Or you can honestly just Google New York Jets Training Camp Live, and I'm sure it'll pop up. Or just Google Training Camp Live, or YouTube search Training Camp Live, and I'm sure a bunch of options will come up. I know the Seahawks do one. I know the Browns do one. I know the Giants do one. Probably a ton of other teams do them. I haven't watched. Those are the three I've watched so far. The Browns, the Seahawks, the Giants, and then obviously the Jets. So those are the 4 training camp lives I've seen. Just scrolling through YouTube and then being there, and I'll watch it for a little bit. It's football, am I right? So, I want to see if they show Mims. I want to see if they give an update on Mims. Because this is the most recent article I found. It was at 7 a.m., This was posted EST. It said August 19, 2020, hard to rush Denzel Mims back when whole job is to run. And that's a little concerning, meaning Gaze, I think, said that 1 or 2 days ago, meaning he's not going to be back really soon. And when he said rush him back, he kind of said a key word. Sorry, I had to sneeze. When he said rush him back, when he said not to rush him back, there's one key word involved in that. One key word involved in that. And that word was rush. You do not want to rush your player back. That's the last thing you would want to do as a coach. Which means when he comes back, he is not going to go straight back out onto the field. It might be more like an MLB situation. Sometimes in the NFL, they come back, they practice a couple days, then they go right in. He might be practicing a couple days, walkthroughs 3 or 4 days, and then hit contact again. So, if he comes back today, he could very well not be in contact again until Monday. So, this is my problem. It's at least going to take him about 5 days. Let's say about Monday through Friday of the week. It's going to take him about a week to fully come back. So, you got to realize he comes back Monday, he probably won't be fully strength until that next Monday. So you just got to add on another week. And that's what I'm concerned about Denzel Mims. Because rush him back. It's stupid to even say, let's just throw him into pads. Sometimes teams do that if they feel like they're 100% healthy. Sometimes people don't see this, but during practice during the week, they practice during the week. They're training throughout the week. Practice during the week. Practice during the week, they're practicing and stuff. Sometimes players go on the side and stuff like that. But, this is, like I said, I want to be optimistic about it, and I am. And my one big optimistic opinion is he's young, and he's fresh into the league. He's got a fresh body. It's not like an old veteran who's played in the league for 20 years. He's bouncing around the league now. That's how old he is. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's almost like a Frank Gore. Frank Gore would have a hamstring injury. It could take a little bit more time. He's older. His body's older. His body's kind of beat up, especially in that position he's in. He's getting tackled pretty much every time he gets the ball, unless if he's scoring a touchdown every single play. As people don't realize about running backs, you really think about it. Every time a running back gets a ball, over 80% of the time running backs get the ball, they're getting tackled. They're getting tackled about how many carries they have a game? Probably about 30 carries a game. They're getting tackled probably, depends, usually 28 of them. And the next 2, they're scoring a touchdown. Sometimes 27. So running backs are getting tackled 25 times, in about 25 times every game. That's just what crazy. That's why their bodies take a toll. Add that up, 25 times 16. It's crazy how many times these guys can get tackled in a year. That's 25. That's average. Sometimes these guys can get 30 carries or so. And they get no touchdowns, but they get 35 carries. That's 35 times they get tackled. Or sometimes they can run out of bounds. But you get what I'm saying. But that's why I think. But the one thing that I am a little concerned about, and the stats have shown, the history has shown in the NFL and all sports leagues, an injury early on in your career usually lingers with you. It might not be severe, but it could linger. Meaning, like, you could do it multiple times throughout your career. It might not end your career, but it could be something that could halt you from being as good as you were expected to be. That is why he's kind of lucky he is not a Mekhi Becton. Because you know how many fans right now would be crazy right now if Mekhi Becton was injured. Which, knock on wood, or whatever, knock on table, he's been a standout at camp. He's been unbelievable. Saw it yesterday on one Jets drive. Unbelievable to see what he's been able to do. I'm excited to see what he's able to do. I'm excited to see what Mims is able to do whenever he's back and healthy. That's what I'm hoping. His body's young. He's first year in the league. Fresh, he's gotten hit a lot in Baylor, but you get what I'm saying. You know, the hits, you ask players, hits in college are different than hits in the NFL. That's all I'm going to say. So, just got to watch out for that. Hopefully, it's nothing like a lingering thing. A lot of time you see lingering times where it's hamstring injury, where it's a torn ACL, but it's not lingering torn ACLs where every season you get a torn ACL. No. If you tear your ACL, usually the rest of your career, sometimes you could have knee issues. Whether that's just soreness, pain, just how your knee is. A lot of times that happens. You get injured early on in your career, it could linger for however many years you play. That's what I'm hoping does not happen, because very well you could miss at least 2 games a season for it, and that's not what you want. Now, if you give me 14 games of excellent football, Pro Bowl every season, don't care about those 2 games. You give me 14 games, average, don't play those 2 games, they miss the playoffs, okay, I care about that. But, it should be interesting, and I just hope he's okay. Adam Gase, hard to rush. Denzel Mims back when the job is to run. The Jets are dealing with a handful of injured players across their roster at the moment, including a pair of wide receivers who were, by the way, Vincent Smith, I forgot about this. One of our rising, decent receivers. He ain't great. He's nothing special. He's nothing like, he ain't the greatest thing since sliced bread. But he is one of the rising people on this team. He had a very productive year last year. I'm saying productive because I don't think it wasn't a great year. It wasn't anything special. It was productive. He is now supposed to be out about, he could very well miss 2 months. So there's your first month of the season out of the equation, and there's your first month of the season out of the equation for him. He could possibly come back. He probably won't step on a football field again until October. Because 2 months, that's the whole month of September, rest of October, and a couple days into October. Or a whole month, rest of September, rest of August. What is it, 10 days more in August about? 30 in September, that's 40, 60 is 2 months about. So he could very well miss mid-October. There's your first half of the season out. Vincent Smith's not in. So there's one player. We did pick up Chris Hogan because here, and this is always happens. Happened last year. Happened last season. We thought we had our offensive line stable. Bunch of injuries crashed down. No, we don't. This season we thought I had our receiving core stable. Bunch of injuries crashed down. Okay, now we're We have Brashad Perryman and really Jamison Crowder are really the only 2 left. And now Vincent Smith and Denzel Mims are done. We got Chris Hogan, but he's not like he's going to put up amazing plays. He probably will be like a Braxton Berrios, maybe getting 1 or 2 catches a game, but nothing special. So Vincent Smith is likely to miss more than a month after having core muscle surgery. And second-round pick Denzel Mims has been out since hurting his hamstring last week. On Tuesday, head coach Adam Gase said the nature of his injury and possibility of making it worse makes it's hard to do anything but be patient. It's one of those injuries. It's hard to rush when it's a guy. His whole job is to run. Gase said via NJ.com, and we just got to make sure that we get him healthy enough so we get them in the offense, get him practicing against the defense, and see how far we can get him before the season starts. Mims was ticketed for a sizable role on the offense, but extended absence will make that more difficult. Chris Hogan, who had a physical Tuesday, is expected to join team soon, and that will help make the wide-out picture look a bit better for the Jets. I'll tell you what, man, and this is the problem. The Yankees can handle the injuries because we have such a good farm system, such good backup players. The Jets, on the other hand, they can't handle the injuries. They cannot handle the injuries. And I'm not being outrageous by saying that just because they're the Jets. They can't. Look at the Yankees. They can handle the injuries. They were winning games. They swept the Red Sox. I know they're not good, but still, all those players on that team are good enough to make the major leagues. They swept the Red Sox. They did all that stuff without Judge and Stanton. They beat the Braves without them. Like the Jets, on the other hand, they can't do that. The Jets can't do that. The Jets cannot handle all those injuries. That's just how they are. And I'm not trying to go on a Jets rant here. I'm not. Teams are built for it. There are some teams that have amazing backups. There are some teams that have horrible backups, almost like the Jets. Or there's some teams that just don't have much depth at a position, and that is where we get haunted. Of course, last season, we didn't have much depth at the offensive line position. We got hit there. This season, not much depth at the receiver position. We have, 3 good receivers. Other than that, it's a bunch of It's Mims, Crowder, Perryman. Now it's Crowder, Perryman, and not Vincent Smith, not Mims. Robbie Anderson's gone. Now all of a sudden you lose 3 receivers right there. Now we got to bring in Chris Hogan, hope that Vincent Smith can come back strong, hope that Denzel Mims can come back within the next 2 weeks. Now all of a sudden the Jets are having a problem. And I said this last season. If there is one team in New York, because the Yankees were the most injured baseball team in the league. I think they used a total of they played a total of 30 or 100-something games without so-and-so players, or without their open day roster. Their opening day roster compared to their final day roster was insane. It was insane. Troy Tulowitzki was on their opening day roster last season. By the end of last season, it was forget about it. Who's even on this team now? But the Jets, I said, out of one team in New York, you do not want to catch that Yankees injury bug. It was almost like an injury. It was almost like a virus in a way. Some other team's gonna catch it. What team's gonna be? Because you know how. What was I gonna say? You know how the Yankees had the injury bug. They handed it over to the Jets. I remember saying, what team do you think is going to get the injury bug? And no, I mean, I never do remember saying that, but, I remember, kind of just thinking it out, and I remember actually telling one of my friends week 1, again, it was the Jets-Bills, and I was like, I think if the Jets get the injury bug, because we already had a couple injuries coming out of training camp, if the Jets get the injury bug, we got a problem. Sure enough, the Jets got an injury bug. All of a sudden, Fatuski, however you pronounce his last name, he got a big role. He got a big role. I mean, a huge role. And now he's all of a sudden could be one of our starters. And it's just crazy. And it really is just crazy. And I think that really what happens is I think the Yankees handled it better because they have a better farm system. They have better backups. The Jets, on the other hand, they can't do that. I'll tell you what, man. I'm just hoping the Jets have a decent season. Every year, and I watch these One Jets Drives, right? It's like a little 20-minute documentary. They post them every Tuesday. If you want to watch them, just go on New York Jets YouTube. It's that easy. Or you can Google, or you can YouTube search One Jets Drive episode. We're on that. Yesterday was episode 3. Now we're on episode 4. So if you want to watch it for some reason on Tuesday, if you're a Jets fan or you're just interested, you could probably look up New York Jets episode 4, One Jets Drive. It comes out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right at 8, nothing earlier, nothing later. So if you set your timer 8 o'clock, you could search it right up. I have a robot doing it, where it automatically posts it right when it hits 8. Although sometimes sometimes it doesn't always send the update out that it's uploaded. That's just how YouTube is. I know with my YouTube channel, it doesn't always send out the updates, but they make the One Jet Drives, they get them so hyped. They make them so hyped. As a Jets fan, when I'm sitting there watching that, I have to come back to reality for a second. Because, at the end of the video, they always do, a bunch of, music, a bunch of, pump-up sounds, a bunch of, these players are fighting for every inch. This is our season. Our one goal is to win a Super Bowl. There's no other goal. And then as a Jets fan, you're like, watching these guys like push these dummies around. You're like, oh, we could very well win 10 games. And then you come back to reality and you're like, okay, remember, I was watching the Jets. Got to hold on a second. And that's the problem. I mean, those one Jets tries, I think, are to get the fans hyped and stuff. But that's the problem. Like, I was so hyped. I had to come back to reality. I was like, hold on. Adam Gase was the coach in this video, and we're talking about the New York Jets. All right, so we gotta come back to reality a little bit here. That was the one problem. But an awesome series. But even, like, in that series, like, it just highlights one player each week, and it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I just hope that you know we get. I just hope that Denzel Mims is able to come back healthy, come back stronger, come back better than ever. And I just hope that whenever he comes back, he is the Denzel Mims that all of us wanted and hoped to see, and that is second round pick Denzel Mims skill wise. So. It's going to be iffy. I'm just hoping that we can obviously I'm just hoping that the Jets can really, really compete and really be better than what they've shown. And like I said, I hope, and like I said, I said this the other day on my podcast, as much as I ripped, bust, make fun of my teams every single day, I've said it so many times, I want them to win a championship, even though I may rip them, even though I may absolutely destroy them, be like just now when I had to come back to reality watching one Jet drive because I realized I was watching a coach that was led by Adam Gase, watching a team like the Jets that is just a combusted franchise. I want my teams to win a championship every season. Do I predict them to win a championship? No, because I know it's far off. But, I mean, some people don't realize that. Some people are like, why do you want your team to fail? I don't want them to fail. I'm very hard with I take sports very seriously. I know everybody has their different opinions. People have their different topics. You could be this, and this. I'm big into sports. I think sports are one of the biggest markets out there. I personally think, I've even after losses, I'm upset, I'm mad, stuff like that. I take sports very seriously. Although I have no control over the team I root for, I still believe that I'm a big superstition guy too. I'm a big superstition guy. I'm a huge superstition dude. So, I'm big I'm very big superstitious. Pretty big superstition. But yeah, it is always. I just hope that the Jets can succeed some way, shape, or form rather than last season's 7-9 bad record. I want a 7-9. People don't think I like the 7-9 record last year. I didn't mind it. On paper, it's beautiful. Look at the teams we won and lost to, though. It was not a good 7-9 record. I want a 7-9 record that final 3 weeks of the season we're a playoff talk. We're maybe possibly a playoff team. 6-6 at that point. Play 3 more games. Okay, we finished 7-9, 8-8. All right. At least we could say final 3 weeks of the season we had meaningful games. Jets the final 3 weeks of the season not have meaningful games. After that Ravens loss, it was done. After that Bengals loss too, it was done. Forget about it. Just absolutely forget about it. So these are all of the playoff games so far. I'm actually just going to go through yesterday's games just because it makes more sense. You probably already know about what happened in the first games. So yesterday we had the Magic beat the Bucks 122-110. Actually, hold up. So yesterday we had the Magic beat the Bucks 122-110. Tell you what, man, Bucks don't look good. They did not look good, and I said this before. I've said this before. I don't know what it is, but I don't believe the Bucks are going to do that great. I don't, and I don't think that's an outrageous statement. I really don't. I know I say that a lot, but look, they lost to the Orlando Magic. I know the Orlando Magic did last season beat the Raptors game 1 and then lose the next 4. I know that. I do know that. That also happened to the Nets. I predicted the Nets to win. I do know that. They did not lose. They did not lose this time around. Or they did not win this time around. As a matter of fact, they lost by 24. Okay, so the Magic beat the Bucks. And I think I nailed this right on the head. Because I did say game 1 for these teams is like a feel-out game. It's like, okay, what is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? Is this guy good? How about him? What kind of play style are they running? Are they going to run this type of play style, this type of play style? It usually isn't, we're going full out there pounding it. Especially for a team like the Bucks that's predicted to win the series heavily. I mean, this is a Magic team that's way below 500. Technically, in the West, they would probably be like the 11th seed right now, right? So that's just how weak the East is. Your 7 and 8 seeds are below 500, which is the Nets and the Magic. So they won by 12. It wasn't like it was no close game either. It wasn't like the Magic barely squeezed out against the Bucks either. They crushed them. They beat them by 12. In the fourth quarter, the Bucks had really no shot. It wasn't like it was a close game and they played the foul game towards the end. They beat them. They plain out crushed them. There's no other way around saying it. They plainly out, Magic plainly crushed them. There's no other way of saying it. And the Bucks were flat. The Bucks were not ready. You had Bucks players kicking chairs. You had Bucks players getting mad. You had Bucks players separating as teammates against each other. The Bucks right now have to go into a locker room and straighten things up because they are not the normal Bucks we all see. He's not the normal Giannis we all see and think he's insane. He's not the normal Giannis. It's not the normal Bucks team. This is not the Bucks team everybody's talking about that has shown up to this bubble. And I don't care if you're like, they still got the number 1 seed. Be a number 1 seed all you want. You get knocked out of the first round, nobody's going to talk about you anymore. Did you know about that 1 seed? No, yeah. If the 1 seed's not, when it comes to NBA Finals, nobody's going to talk about the 1 seed unless if they're in the playoffs or in the finals. Nobody's going to talk about the 1 seed. So the Bucks lose by 12. An ugly loss. It wasn't like it was a close game by like 1 or 2 where they just chucked up a buzzer beater and won. The Bucks did not play a good game. Magic did. Magic win first game. They've got all the momentum now. Now, Giannis, who was predicted to win the MVP, I don't think he should, but different story, different day, has got to carry this Bucks team to 4 wins. And if this Magic team wins tomorrow, oh boy, Milwaukee could get crazy. Watch out. So Magic wins by 12, 122-110. Good win for the Magic. Next up, we have the Heat Pacers. Heat win that one, 113-101. I actually watched that game. Magic, I did not watch that game. I was actually out doing stuff. I did not watch that game, but I did watch the Heat Pacers game, which was very good. Watched the Heat Pacers game. He played well. He played very well, and I don't think I'm outraged. They played well. Duncan Robinson had a couple nice shots. 82.1% of his shots are 3-pointers. He's a big 3-point shooter. Made the 3-point contest. Jimmy Butler's obviously the big leader of that team. Bam Adebayo's having a great season. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Heat dominated 113-101. Pacers got close there. TJ Warren, Oladipo was out the second half. No Sabonis. Add Oladipo and Sabonis back in. Okay, you got yourself a chance, but without, it was really just Turner, Warren, Brogdon out there. Without Oladipo, it's tough to really, really, really win there. Pacers got close, but he ended up securing that one. They win by 12, 113-101. I think this is the first time I've ever seen in a couple of years now where nobody has the seed ahead of them winning. Like, everybody has the Heat winning the series, and they're the 5 seed. The Pacers are the 4 seed. Everybody has the Pacers winning. I feel like everybody has the Pacers winning. I just feel like everybody has the Pacers winning. But anyway, so that's what I got for that. Or everybody has the Heat winning. Nobody has the Pacers is what I'm saying. But the Pacers are missing out. No Sabonis. He got his foot injury now. There's no Oladipo possibly. Those are 2 big players that are out. It's Butler, Derek Jones Jr., it's Bam Adebayo, it's Duncan Robinson, it's Tyler Hero, it's Myers Leonard. This is a very good Heat team. And I'll tell you what, because I had it right here. If they lose first round, the Bucks, Heat could very well make the NBA Finals. Heat could very well make the NBA Finals. Heat could very well make the NBA Finals. And I think that's an outrageous statement. I'm actually kind of kicking myself. I was going to do it. I was going to have the Heat beating the Bucks in the second round, but I didn't do it on my bracket, and I can't do it now because we're officially through the whole all game one, so that's a rule. We cannot do another bracket. Stinks because I was hoping, I was going to do the Heat beating the Bucks, but I was like, came back to reality, and I was like, that can't happen. But now you really look at the Heat, they beat the Pacers, who are not a bad team. It's just the Heat are probably better than them. By 12, Jimmy Butler's playing good, Duncan Robinson's good, Bam Adebayo's good. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, this team looked like a final team yesterday. So, the Heat win, 113-101. Rockets beat the Thunder, 123-108. They caught the Rockets on a good day. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. And I mean, there's no other way of saying it. You know, when the Rockets are on, they're one of the better teams in the league. When they're off, they could very well be the 13th seed could very well compete with them. The 13th seed could very well compete with them. So they caught them on an on day yesterday. Harden had a good game, 30-something points. Eric Gordon played very well. Very well. So Rockets win by 15, as a matter of fact. They win by 15. Tough loss for the Thunder. Chris Paul played okay. Harden, I think, really played the best. And the Rockets are definitely going to be it's definitely going to be interesting for the Rockets. It will definitely be interesting for the Rockets to see if they continue this or if they don't. And the Rockets got to continue this because, when they're off, if the Thunder don't win when they're off, that's a problem. Rockets weren't off yesterday. Look at the highlights. They were not off. You could tell when they're off. So the Rockets win that one, 123-108. And next up, we have a big surprise. We have actually not a huge surprise. We have the Blazers-Lakers. Trailblazers win 193. I have the Lakers winning the series in 6. I said it. I have them winning in 6. I think the Blazers are going to make it competitive. Once again, Blazers in the fourth quarter. Dominated again. Damian Lillard dominating again. In the fourth quarter, 17 points per game. Dominating again. Dominating. 17 points per game in the fourth quarter. That's more than some players get in the whole game. Damian Lillard's insane. Had another big 30-something point night last night. Just unbelievable. Lakers lose. I said this before. Damian Lillard, LeBron's older now. He doesn't have that much energy anymore, I feel like, to go away. And he said it yesterday. It's going to be the hardest finals for him to ever win. And that is true. They lost yesterday by 7. They blew it in the fourth quarter, sorry. And also, they were missing a ton of open shots. I mean, there was open chances everywhere, and they were missing them. They were just covered and they just weren't getting good shots. They were getting good looks. They just could not connect. And I feel like that's been a common theme, and a lot of people have said that. Lakers' offense has been horrible. One of the worst in the bubble. They've not been able to convert open looks. Or when they shoot, it's a bad shot. Yesterday they had good looks. They couldn't put it in the net. They didn't even reach 100 points. They didn't even score 100 points. That's saying something. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't really think the Trailblazers defense is all that good either. I mean, they're not. No, you can't really say, oh, that defense is really good. No, I mean, Damian Lillard shoots and that's really it. I'm not saying that I'm mad about that. I'm just saying he shoots and that's kind of really it. That's what I'm saying. Like the Lakers, they only scored 93 points against a defense that I don't think is really all that. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But am I seeing something? They didn't even score 100 points. So, the Lakers lose. That's tough. LeBron's angry. LeBron's going to come out. That's why I'm a little worried about the Blazers. LeBron's going to come out next game better than ever. Flaming. He's going to come out. Nets play today. But, I'll tell you what, man. The Lakers need a day off. That's why I said, I don't know, man. It's just going to be so intriguing. So today we have the Nets, Raptors, Jazz, Nuggets, Sixers, Celtics, Mavs, Clips. That is who's on tonight. Should be fun to watch. Watch the Nets games, definitely. And then maybe the Nuggets game, and then maybe definitely the Yankees game. But now we move on to the NHL playoffs. So I'm trying to find it. All right, perfect. Okay, got the NHL scores. So the NHL, and I said this before, the NHL I think sounds the best out of all the sports. I think it does. And I don't think that's an outrageous statement. That's one of my key lines. I got to put it up on a wall. Don't think that's an outrageous statement because I say that a ton. I don't think it is. I think it sounds the best. So yesterday's scores, this was from Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. I'll run through the games today as well. Today's Tuesday. Flyers win. They win yesterday 2-0. Philadelphia leads the series 3-1. I'll tell you what, there's no series that was close yesterday. Everything's 3-1. Vegas beat the Blackhawks. So the Blackhawks are done. Flyers win 2-0 against the Canadiens. Flyers are up 3-1 in the series. They just need to win one more game. The Stars and the Calgary Flames played. Stars won 2-1. So the Dallas Stars are now, it's 3-2 in the series. Now they head to a game 6 in the series. And that's going to be interesting. Stars are a good team. So are the Flames. They're about even. But NHL playoffs brings in a completely different teams. I mean, it's true. And I've always said that. Any playoff in any sport league, you do not play the same as always. Like you might play how you play in the regular season, then come playoffs you play completely different game plan. All right, strip down everything that completely worked. Let's make a new game. That's how everybody is. You gotta stay focused, and playoffs is a totally different thing. No fans or fans, either way, it's still the playoffs. Stars win that one. Capitals Islanders win 3-2. Ovechkin had 2 goals. He had the big 2 goals. They were down 2-0 going into the second period. It was almost like Capitals fans, I'm sure, almost lost hope because they were flat in the first period. Islanders came out, boom, and scored 2 quick goals. Then all of a sudden, 3 straight, they win. Islanders lead 3-1 in the series. Capitals win to stay another day in the bubble. So that should be interesting there. I predicted the Islanders to win, but just because of how good they were playing, especially when they scored those first 2 goals, I was keeping track with the game. I was like, yeah, 2-0, like this game's over, and sure enough, that was not the case. So the Islanders lost. The Capitals play again against them again, but the Islanders will obviously gotta win that one because then when it gets to like 3-2, then it gets interesting. And when it gets to like, especially then almost said that game 6, when it gets to 3-2, that game 6 is almost a must win. Because then you have to go into game 7. That's just where all the pressure's on you. So the Blackhawks, Golden Knights is 4-3. They win. They win 4-3. Vegas wins the series 4-1. That was tough. The Blackhawks are done. Barely got in. Vegas has got in easily. Vegas wins. They move on to the second round of the playoffs. The Blue Jackets play today against the Lightnings. Hurricanes play against the Bruins. Bruins will try to finish up that series. Lightning will try to finish up that series. Avalanche Coyotes. Avalanche will try to finish up that series. Flyers Canadiens. Flyers will try to finish up that series. And the Canucks Blues. That is tied at 2-2 series there. So that's actually a big game. So anyway, that's what I got for the NHL scores and the NBA scores. Like I said, the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs have been very good so far. I've been enjoying watching them, so it's a lot of fun. Now we move into the interesting part of the show as the Yankees lose yesterday, 6-3. They had 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Tampa Bay had 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors. I mean, it wasn't even just the pitching. It was just the fact that the Yankees just couldn't hit. They straight up could not hit. They went 1 for 3. Voit went 1 for 3 with a run scored, a walk, and 2 RBIs. He had a home run. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Urshela went 0 for 4. Hicks went 0 for 4. Glaber went 0 for 4. Sanchez went 1 for 3 with a run scored, a walk, and an RBI. He hit a home run. Home run or nothing with him. Talkman went 0 for 2 with a walk. Frazier went 1 for 4. Andujar went 1 for 3 with a walk. Estrada went 1 for 2 with a run. Scored. Ford went 0 for 0, and Wade went 0 for 1. Tanaka pitched 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs. No walks, 2 strikeouts. Nick Nelson would pitch 3 innings, 1 hit, no earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Luis Cessa, 2 innings, no hits, no earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts. So the bullpen kept him in the game. It was just at that point, honestly, it was mainly on the offense. Yankees play today. Got to give him a win. Cole's on the mound. Just got to give him a win. I think the Yankees need to bounce back today. It's tough because, Tanaka, yeah, he pitched bad, but when your bullpen keeps you in the game like that and you still can't put up any offense, there's a problem there. So the Mets won yesterday, 8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Marlins, 8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Marlins, 3 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. Mets moved to 11-14. Brandon Nimmo went 3 for 5 with a run score, no walks, 2 RBIs. Jeff McNeil went 0 for 4. Jimenez went 0 for 1. J.D. Davis went 1 for 3 with a run scored, 2 walks, and an RBI. Conforto went 1 for 3 with 2 runs and a walk. Cano went 1 for 5 with a run scored. Alonso went 1 for 3 with a run scored and 2 walks. Dom Smith went 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 RBIs. Billy Hamilton went 0 for 1 with a run scored. Ahmed Rosario went 2 for 5 with a run scored and 3 RBIs. Thomas Nitto went 0 for 4. Chris Oswalt went 4 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Wilson went 1 1/3, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Hughes went 1 inning, 1 1/3, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, 1 strikeout. Delmo Patanzas went 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Edwin Diaz went 1 inning, 3 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts. So, Edwin Diaz is so bad. Even though he got out of that inning, he had 3 hits on earned run. Really, that's just jeez. So the Mets moved to 11-14 on season. They play today. I'll give them another win due to that big one yesterday. The Nets play today. I hope they win. I do not think they will. I say the Raptors get this win. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Nets win. But from what I saw game 1, need to see a win in order for me to predict another win. Because what I saw game 1 was not what I want to see at all. And that is what I saw. So I say the Raptors win this game, although I hope the Nets win this game. We need this game big. We fall down 2-0, it's out of hope. We win today, slight bit hope. We lose today, hope's kind of gone there. Then we have the Islanders. They obviously lost yesterday, like I alluded to earlier on in the show. 3-2, they'll play tomorrow. Time is to be determined. I'll preview that game tomorrow. How many hits do the Yankees have again? I gotta see this. 5 hits. How are you supposed to win a game when you have 5 hits? That's what I'm trying to talk about. It wasn't all the pitching. Bullpen kept him in that game. Nick Nelson and Luis Cessa pitched 5 strong innings. They kept him in that game. Got to be better than that, I guess. So, obviously tough for the Yankees, but we got to come back stronger, and I think that's the big deal. I think that's big. I think what is the problem with the Yankees is that I feel like when our pitching's off, our hitting's off as well. And I think that's a problem. You need one off. If one's off and the other's on, okay, you could possibly find a way to squeeze out a win. Which was actually yesterday. One was off, one was not. One was off, both were off, and they still found a way to almost squeeze out a win. Hitting was off and pitching was off. Still found a way to squeeze out a win. Still found almost a way to squeeze out a win. They were close. So I'm saying, if one little thing is on for the Yankees, they win. As for yesterday, both things were off, and they still only lost by 3 runs. I just feel like the Yankees, it's just like they're pitching. It's just Cole and Monty, and other than that, you can't trust Paxton. Really can't trust Tanaka except in the playoffs. And you can't trust Happ. It's really it's really Cole and Monty is who you can really trust. And other than that, that's what I'm saying, man. And that's what I've always said about Brian Cashman. I don't like Brian Cashman at all. I'm probably one of the only Yankees fans out there, except a couple I know, that don't like Cashman. Because a lot of Yankees fans like Cashman because he gives players a lot of cash. He's big. I mean, his last name has cash in it. It's Cashman. But he's always been known for giving players a lot of money. Whether that player is average or not, he's always been known for overpaying players. His last name's Cashman. We always joke around about that. But that's why a lot of Yankees fans do that, because he splashes on big deals, the Cole deal, the Stanton deal, right? Here's the thing with the Yankees. he's never been a good pitching GM. He doesn't get any pitchers. Okay, he got Cole. That's it. Pitching staff is like an offensive line in the NFL. That's how important it is. You don't have a good pitching staff, you cannot be a good team. It's true. You don't have a good offense line, your offense is going to fail. You don't have a good pitching, your offense, your defense, and your whole team's going to fail. You need to build up that pitching staff. 5 guys on the offense line, 5 guys on pitching. Come on. Bullpen's very good. Ottavino, Britton, Sessa's been good. Nick Nelson's surprising. Chapman. I mean, it's just the starting pitching. It's Cole and Monty is that's the only people you can trust. Other than that, Paxton will have 1 good start out of 7. Happ will have 1 out of like 10. Cole's good on pretty much every start. And Monty's the same way. And Monty only pitched 3 2/3 the other day because of the rain delay. And they didn't put him in because he was cold for an hour and a half. So they didn't put him in. He probably could have went at least 2 more innings, which would have bumped him up to like 5 or 6. So, yeah. Yankees got to get better on the pitching staff. Cole's been amazing. That's why I give him a win today. That's what I got for the podcast, though. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.